Hi everyone! Today in the how-to series, we're going to explore how to do handoff in Framer. And the main point of Framer is to not have handoff. But as the first time you iterate on something you may want to have handoff, you can also do it. So something to mention before is that Framer has, web technologies behind it. So the handoff is a bit different than what you're used to with other tools. So like everything you see in the canvas is basically HTML, CSS, and SVG. So the first thing you can do is, if you want to do handoff within Framer, you could just go to any element. I know, let's say whatever, this card, and then you can basically copy the values, copy the CSS. If you're working with, for example, icons such as this one, what you could do, instead of copy the CSS, just copy the SVG. And actually, when you copy the SVG, let me show you the path for the developers here. This is basically one of the cleanest paths you can have. It's just an SVG path that you can just directly use in production. Then the third thing you can do, if for example you're using and you want to see what is behind this canvas, we actually have a component in the store by Steve, which is called Frame Spy. And what it gives you is basically just, the React code under the hood. So you can install this component. And once it's installed, you can show it. It's going to be here. And then, for example, let's say I want to put it in this bar. And you can see all the code from this bar. So you can see the name, canvas zoom. You can also see basically kind of everything, the width and the height, etc. And when you're actually working with React components, such as, for example, let's say I want to do now this little one. Let me just put it here. Imagine I want to do the switch. Now you can even see the props here. So for example, if now in my switch I want a tint of like the black tint, you can see the color changing. Or if I wanted enable false, you'll see enable false property appears here. That's actually a really good way to do handoff because, for example, if you're working with tokens, if you have like your code components in Framer and you're working with tokens, you can always, you don't have to hand off raw values. You can just inspect the values through that. So cool. Imagine now you don't want to do these. And what you want to do is just a normal handoff that people just do red lines and take some values out. So what you could do is basically just third-party tools like Prism or CSS Peeper in the browser. There's no need for translating. So for example, you don't need to use Zeppelin or something like that because there's no, everything is web-based. So what you'll do is just either go here and say live preview and just open it in the browser. Or you can just export it and host it, as Perry showed in the video that we're going to put in the description. And then you'll have the same the same export here. And the only thing you'll do is you can go to Prism or CSS Peeper and inspect it as you're used to. So you can, for example, just use the redlining tool to redline anything. You have all the specifications that you need here. And also if you use CSS Peeper, what you'll get is the colors that you're using, and then also the assets that you're actually using. And this is actually something that is quite useful because there are like a lot of ways to do that, and developers don't need to use other tools that they are not used to. They can just literally use these CSS Peeper and Prism, or what they could also do is just go right click, inspect, and now they're able to use the actual inspect tools from Chrome or whatever browser they want to actually do it. So that's a lot on handoff. Something to mention as well is that if you're using React components in your designs, your developers could also use the React tools to actually kind of tweak them in the browser and see how they work and see the properties it shows. That's it. Any questions, you can pose them in the comments and we'll be happy to answer. Bye.